Welcome back to the show. Today we're diving into the mid-19th century, an era where the giants of physics were busy trying to map out the invisible mechanics of the world. At the center of this movement was Sir George Gabriel Stokes, a Lucasian professor at Cambridge. While he contributed to everything from fluorescence to geodesy, his most enduring legacy in the world of engineering and soil science is a deceptively simple observation about how things fall. Stokes wasn't just looking at gravity, he was obsessed with viscosity, the thickness or internal friction of a fluid that fights back against motion. In 1851, Stokes published his landmark work on the friction of fluids. He derived a formula to describe the terminal velocity of a small spherical object as it settles through a liquid. This became known as Stokes' law. The beauty of his math lies in the balance of forces, the downward pull of gravity versus the upward resistance of buoyancy and fluid friction. He realized that as a particle falls, it eventually stops accelerating and hits a constant speed, a terminal velocity which is dictated entirely by the particle's size and the fluid's temperament. The mathematical engine. To understand the hydrometer analysis used by geologists and engineers today, you have to look at the equation Stokes handed us. In this elegant expression, V represents the settling velocity. The variable g is gravity. D is the diameter of the particle. Rho sub s and rho sub w are the densities of the solid and the water respectively, and mu is the dynamic viscosity of the liquid. Essentially, Stokes proved that if you know how fast a grain of silt is sinking, you can work backward to calculate exactly how big that grain is. From theory to the lab. Fast forward to the early 20th century, where civil engineers were struggling to classify soils that were too fine for a standard sieve. You can't exactly catch a microscopic piece of clay in a wire mesh. This is where the hydrometer analysis comes in. By suspending a soil sample in a tall cylinder of water and measuring the density of the mixture over time with a glass hydrometer, scientists apply Stokes' law in real time. As the heavier, larger particles settle out of suspension first, the density of the fluid changes, allowing us to see the distribution of particle sizes without ever using a microscope. However, Stokes was a realist, and he knew his law had its limits. For the math to hold true, the particles must be perfectly spherical, the fluid must be infinite, no bumping into the walls of the jar, and the movement must be laminar, smooth and slow, without any chaotic turbulence. In the messy world of dirt and mud, soil particles are rarely perfect spheres. They are often flat, jagged, or flaky. Yet, despite these physical imperfections, Stokes' law remains the gold standard because it provides a remarkably reliable approximation for the behavior of fine-grained materials. Today, every time a technician drops a hydrometer into a murky cylinder to test the foundation of a new skyscraper or the health of a farmer's field, they are channeling the ghost of George Stokes. His 175-year-old math remains the bridge between the invisible world of fluid dynamics and the very visible world of infrastructure. It is a testament to the power of classical physics. A single equation, derived in a Cambridge study, still dictates how we understand the very ground beneath our feet.